Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you're new. So in today's video, I thought it would be kind of interesting to give you a little look inside the process of making some nature journals. So this is partially due to my Patreon guide word of the month, which is cultivate, and due to the fact that that is so commonly associated with plants and nature, I thought that it would be cool to just put together some journals where I could document just a bunch of different things. I've been wanting to keep an illustrated bird list and just numerous different things where I might want to draw or write about different nature things. And so here I have a pretty large stack of different papers, and I thought that we could, at the very least, put together some signatures, and we'll see what we are doing from there. So I have a bunch of different kinds of papers here. Some of them are more embellishment type pieces, like this is a little mushroom cutout from a field guide. This is just a illustration that was from a Reader's Digest book. These are some dyed papers I did using black beans and tea, and I also used some baking soda to kind of give this variation in color. These are actually some eco-dyed papers and laces, which I felt went very well with the theme. As you can see, we have some little leaf impressions here, and some different flower impressions as well. So there's a bunch of that. Then I just have some different little scraps and stickers and things that I've collected. This is homemade paper in a light green, a jelly print, another little cutout. And these are both printables from Etsy, and I will link the shops in the description of this video. These were some little fern cards, and I wanted these to use as pockets and little inserts. And then also I have some papers here. Some of these are actually Halloween papers. I pretty much interchangeably use all of these different papers depending on what I feel is most fitting. That's a Christmas one. And there's another fern one. So I'm just going to use some of these papers and then maybe also some other blank papers and maybe some graph papers and that sort of thing. And I'm going to create some signatures. So this is the little cover that I made using some Tyvek and chipboard. And this is a 4x6 journal. So I thought we would start by cutting down these papers here. So because it's a 4x6 journal, I am going to quickly do some math here. So I need my pieces of paper to be 5.5 inches by 7.5 inches. And I'm going to start and I'm going to set aside my scraps to use to embellish the journals. I'm trying to figure out how to cut it so that this middle bit remains in the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fold in half on this line here, or essentially on the line. It's close enough. And then I'm actually going to cut 3 3/4. And that way I can have a little bit of a border all the way around. I'm actually going to adjust this one, even though I already folded it, so that I can have at least one of these little bits here. And this one I'm also going to completely ignore this centerfold. I do want this bit though, so I'm going to cut from this side. So I'm going to do 2 signatures for this book, and so I'm going to choose some to be my outside covers, and I'm going to choose these 2 because I like this as a front, and I like this as a back. And then I'm going to simply fill in let's see what else we have here. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to fold this one in half. And that actually is going to fit inside, so that's going to be nice. And I'm going to select a few of the dyed papers as well. I chose a couple of blank ones and a couple of graph ones. This one I believe I can just fold and add in. And I'm just going to select a few more. These are the types of situations where I run into problems because I really like the way that these look together, and I really like the way these look together, but I should probably fill in some of the spaces between the printed pages. But I'm just going to try to figure out something else. Now here in my scraps, I have some pieces that could make interesting additions to my pages. For instance, this could give me a little pocket. So what I'm going to do is cut my edges off here. And because I used this fern paper in the second signature, I'm going to use it in the first just to kind of tie everything together. Let's try it out in a few different places here, but I like it most on the outside, I think. And we'll do another for the second signature. I like the way that this looks in contrast with this background. And as you can see, the signatures are already starting to bulk up a little bit. I've pulled out a few more little pieces of stationery, and also this field guide. I like incorporating some of the smaller pieces as well, just to add some interest to my signatures. So I'm just going to fold these in half. And I like to get my signatures pretty even in terms of what types of pages are in them. So I will typically use one piece per source per signature. I like how this little wildflowers text is above this page that's a little bit smaller. Now that my signatures are starting to get a little bulky, I think I'm going to be done adding pages. As you can see, they're already starting to fill out the journal. And I still intend on adding quite a few pockets and things like that. I'm going to come in here with some paper clips, just to try holding things together a little better. I also grabbed a little packet of these moth and butterfly die cuts, and these are a new addition to my Etsy shop. I think these will be fun for little embellishments. And basically, I'm just putting paper clips where I eventually want to stitch. I'm also going to grab some of my other little accents and things. I have these cards, which will make good little pockets. I'm also going to clip these pockets so that they stay in place. A lot of the time I will add my pockets to pages where I won't otherwise be able to write directly on top of the page. So even though a pocket might look interesting here, this is still a pretty blank page, so I want to leave some open, like this. And I will just add different types of embellishments to those pages. An exception is going to be areas like this, where there's a lot of blank space and not a whole lot going on. So I might want to add some interest like this. And these are all just general rules of thumb, not necessarily what you have to do or what I always do. So that's just the beginning of the embellishments on there. Let's move on to the next signature. I may also slide in some little elements that I just intend to go in the pockets while I'm in this phase. I kind of want to cover the bird, and so I think what I will end up doing is adding in some sort of something to cover it up. So my junk journals are very much built in this way, where I just add in a few pieces here and there, and then I go back to the first signature and I add in some more. I like the idea of using this as a pocket, but only after it has some sort of backing on it. But I'm gonna clip it here, just so I can remember that. I also like the idea of some sort of strips that I can slide things underneath. That would make a good one. And this would also make a good one. So I'm going to cut these down. And I'm going to do one per signature, so we'll look for a place to do it in this one. So I will add a few paper clips, hold everything together, and after that's adhered in, it will be pretty easy for me to just slip things underneath. Sometimes it's also fun to adhere little embellishments to these. So let me look for one that's maybe a little smaller. Another thing we can kind of do to add some interest are some squares. And then these ones we can fold in half diagonally. So a good little thing I could slide in here would be this. Because even though this is a nice blank page, this can also fold out, where I will have even more space. So that's not wasting space to put this here. And these ones I often like to stitch in so that I can still slide little cards in like this. So I'm not sure if this is the one that will end up permanently here, but it's the placeholder. Now, as you can see, even just those little pockets have added in quite a bit of bulk. And for now, I think I am going to call this good. I am going to go back in and basically stitch down all of these different pockets and things. And I may also add in some little tabs and trims and things as well. But as for this video in general, I am pretty happy with calling this an introduction, or sort of the basics of how I approach starting out signatures. So I know this video was a little different from the style of video that I typically do. I don't usually work real time, but I think that kind of mixing up the type of content that I do on this channel will keep things interesting for me and hopefully for you as well. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can subscribe if you want to see more videos like this or very different from this in the future. And until next time, happy creating!